Hey everybody, and welcome to another fancy flow. So today's flow will actually be a little unique compared to the rest that I've offered so far. We're going to be blending some yin movements with some yang movements. So we'll be working into deeper tissues and just the muscles that get tight and inhibit sort of our short-term range of motion, and we'll actually dig into the connective tissues of the body with some longer holds. They won't be super long like in a traditional yin class, but we'll have a little longer and some stretches at the beginning to release and hopefully improve our long-term range of motion and mobility. So specifically today, during several of the postures, you'll want to have some kind of pillow. If you have a yoga bolster, that'll be perfect, but if you have even just a similar item around your house, or you can kind of makeshift one with other yoga props, you'll want to have some handy. So we'll go ahead and get started in child's pose. So for your child's pose, go ahead and situate your bolster so that it's out in front of you and it's parallel with the long edges of your mat. And then start to come down in your own time. Of course, you can use additional props here, slowly lowering your chest to the support of the prop, maybe turning your head in one direction. And just let the weight of the chest release into your prop here. Notice the heart beating, and the breath as it moves into the body. Noticing a rise with those inhales, and then as you exhale, feel the body just sink, fall, and release. Noticing the calming effects that your breath has over the body here. How it soothes the nervous system, simplifies the thoughts, creating space and release. If your head is turned in one direction, go ahead and switch it to the other side. Breath moving, maybe settling into an intention for your practice today, a word, a phrase, a feeling, whatever it is you need to receive. When you're ready, we'll slowly begin to pick the chest up off of your bolster. Slide your bolster forward just a bit. And as you do so, maybe guide the knees in, maybe sway the hips side to side in a table position. Just kind of stretch and release. You could go through a couple rounds of cat and cow if that feels nice. Now, eventually we're going to move into an outer hip stretch. So you're going to slowly place the outer right hip in line with the small edge of your bolster. And then we're going to begin to stagger the legs so that left leg will kind of slide off of the right and bend at that knee and start to point the knee toward the small edge of the mat at the back of your mat. Squaring your chest off toward your bolster. It doesn't have to be perfectly square, you can stay more open to the left. And then your right leg can stay bent here, or if you have the space for it, you can extend that right leg to straight. So whatever you'd prefer to do, whatever works best for your body. And then we'll slowly lower down here, squaring the chest toward the bolster. And as you sink down, you might start to feel the outer right hip, sort of like a foam roller as it presses into the floor. You might notice sensation. This is also a nice rotation for the spine. And you can always back off if it doesn't feel right. About 5 more breaths on this side. We'll begin to slide the hands beneath the shoulders. Pick your chest up off of the prop. And then we'll start to rotate open toward the back of the mat. And as you do so, you're just going to bring your legs into a butterfly position. And you can keep your bolster behind you if you don't need it. But if you want to tuck it in front of you, feel free. We're going to begin to fold our way forward toward floor. You don't have to touch the floor or close out all the space, just finding a sense of release here, even letting the back body round a bit, as long as there's no sharp sensations and you feel supported. You're welcome to sit with any kind of sensations you feel beyond that. Breathe into the spots where you feel this the most. Observing what's happening in your jaw, in your shoulders, see if you can release any muscular activation or tension there. As we let go of our muscles, we're actually able to surrender deeper into those connective tissues we were talking about that help determine our long-term mobility. As we move into these connective tissues, we also stimulate the meridian lines in the body, which are your energetic pathways, helping to create release where there might be overlap or tension or a stagnant area, so that the energy can move more freely through the body. 5 more breaths here. When you're ready, we'll slowly begin to make our way back up. Take your time with it, letting the exit be just as slow and mindful as the pose itself. Sitting upright for a moment, just kind of feeling a sense of freedom through the body. We will situate the bolster behind us once more if it's moved. This time we're going to bring the outer left hip in line with the small edge of the bolster. Begin to stagger the legs, so this time the right knee will start to slide toward the back of the mat. Left knee goes off the side, maybe extending that left leg towards straight, your version of straight. As you square the chest down, you'll kind of roll to the outer left hip a bit. And then if you want to add on, maybe you slowly lower down onto the bolster. And this side might feel different. It might have different needs. That's okay. Honor those and breathe to restore some balance where you need it. Notice how it's easier to let go on the exhales. You can release tension, force, and expectation. And just allow yourself to surrender, to settle, and to trust. About 5 more deep, long breaths here. We'll slide the hands under the shoulders, gently pressing your way up. We'll turn once more to the back of the mat. This time the legs come into a V position. Situate your hips. You can always sit to the edge of a blanket if you need a little more support to help your low back out. And then when you're ready, again, we'll just begin to fold forward, this time with the legs straightened out. Let the back do what it wants to do as long as it feels safe. You can round and release, let the weight of the head go. You can situate more props beneath you or around you if you have more available and want to fine-tune this moment for yourself. The only real requirement is that you allow the breath to move in and out of this shape. The breath does all of the hard work here. You just have to show up. This is our final yin posture, so just kind of savoring sensation, cooling element. into. Final breath in here. Just open your mouth and sigh out. Slowly rise up. Take your time with it. We'll keep the bolster with us. Just set it to the side for a moment. Swing your legs behind you. And then once you're in your table position again, we'll just take the bolster, place it now so that it's parallel with the top short edge of the mat. We're going to begin to take an inhale, dipping the belly low, reaching the heart and gaze forward. And as you exhale, round back, shifting your hips slightly forward and let the thighs kind of tap the bolster. And then from here, just look forward, let your hips sink down. You can kind of scoot your hips back until the hip points are just above the edge of the bolster. Keep your toes curled under if that feels okay in your low back. We're going to start to lower down. And we're going to crisscross the arms here. So thread the left arm across the chest and then the right arm in front of the left. Inch the fingers away from one another. You can maintain your gaze slightly forward of the top of the mat and just curl your toes under and begin to press into the toes, pushing your chest slightly forward to intensify the stretch. Just take 2 more breaths here. Directing the breath into the heads of the shoulders. 1 more. And then we'll slowly unravel. Take your time with it. And switch the other arm in front. Walk the fingers away from one another. Stay here or push the toes into the mat as you roll your chest slightly forward to intensify the stretch. 2 more breaths. Nice and slow, start to unravel. This time you can uncurl the toes if you'd like, pressing the tops of the feet to the mat as you come onto your forearms, coming into a Sphinx pose here. Spread the fingers wide, draw your low belly in, and that'll help to support your low back. And instead of cranking the gaze up and forward, see if you can keep your neck long as it is an extension of the rest of the spine. So it's not going to be in too much of a dramatic kind of shape here. You can stay as you are or widen the hands out a bit. Begin to peel your elbows up off of the floor. Coming into your seal pose. And you can stick with this or you can scoot the hips back just a bit more, so that now the hip points are pressing into the bolster. And then begin to walk your hands in closer, bend into the knees. And you can peek over either shoulder, stick with this, or maybe you grab a hold of both ankles. You'll kind of have to lower down just a bit to maintain. Or maybe you begin to link with the ankles. You'll really have to scoot back so you don't fall forward off of your bolster. And as you link with the feet, again, this is optional, you can stick with it, or kick the feet into the hands to elevate your chest a bit more. take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Breathing is the only requirement. And then slowly lower down. We'll all come down toward the belly. You can keep the bolster beneath you if you'd like. Maybe shake out the hips or windshield wiper the feet. Now we've got everything kind of awake and all the joints we'll be utilizing today. So when you're ready, we'll take the hands beneath the shoulders, push your way up and back. Bolster can stay nearby if you'd like to use it for the yang portion or yang. Nearby, you can take your bolster, place it nearby. If you'd like to use it for the yang portion of the practice. Hands come beneath the shoulders, curl the toes under, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a few moments here. You can create some yang movements if you want to shift forward and back from plank to dog. Whatever you need to do to get established here. Let's take one more breath. From here, we'll take the right leg to the sky. Breathing in, maybe you open out the hip as you exhale. And when you're ready, we'll step that right foot in between the hands at the top. Tap your left knee down to the earth. And then rise up into your kneeling lunge here. So begin to find some resistance now. So we've been leaning into gravity a lot. So you can really press that front foot and the back shin to the mat so you can find buoyancy in your hips. So we've got strength here as well as flexibility. And when you're ready, arms can lift if you feel ready for that. Breath works to restore balance where you need it. Let's take 2 more. Now from here, we'll take the hands down to frame the right foot. Begin to shift your hips back toward a half split position. Keeping your hands down on an inhale, bend back into the right knee, look forward. Exhale to your half split. Inhale, come forward. Exhale to your half split. This time in your half split, we'll begin to walk both hands over to the right. So on the right side of your leg, you can even bring your hands down to a bolster. Spin the pinky edge of the right foot down to the earth and begin to energetically drag the outer right foot towards your hands. And you'll start to feel this in the outer right hip. Keep breathing also into that left side body. Let's take 1 more breath. And then slowly come up and around back into your low lunge. Hands frame the back foot. Lift your back knee up and then shift to the back of the mat into a Skandasana side lunge. You can go side to side a couple times here, hands up or down. You can stay low or maybe go a little higher in the hips. The next time you land to the right side, we're just going to pivot around. Tap the back knee down once more and find a monkey twist. As you reach back for the left foot, maybe the right knee drops out to the right side. And then from here, slowly let go of it. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knees. You open out into your goddess squat. So heels in, toes out, sitting deep here. We're going to take the right arm, wrap it underneath the left arm for eagle arms. Elbows lift, hips sink. We'll pulse here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sinking low, take another breath in. And then as you exhale, come all the way to stand, arms lift, toes spin forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lifting halfway up. As you exhale, we'll just walk around toward the left leg, coming into a little stretch over the pinky edge of the left foot. So you're not changing anything about the legs unless you need to modify the angle of the feet a bit. You can let the outer left hip sink toward the right a bit here. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to turn toward the back of the mat, the original front of the mat here. We're going to take our bolster, maybe a block, and place it kind of in line with that right quad. Slowly sink the top of the right leg down, and then start to extend that left heel forward. Now you can stay up, sort of like your half split position. You can keep the bolster beneath this back quad, or you can slide it forward, maybe beneath the hamstring muscle, and then start to make your way into your full splits. Sitting up nice and tall, pulling the breath in, and sending it out. You can stay upright for a few breaths here. Maybe peek over the left shoulder and find a gentle twist. Maybe you fold forward over the leg and find a fold. And when you're done, slowly begin to guide that left heel in. You can set your bolster to the side once more. Step the left foot back to meet the right and move through a little flow if you'd like to. Headed up and back to down dog. We'll just balance out the other side. So when you're ready, the left leg will lift up, opening the hip. And then gently step that left foot through. Tapping your right knee to the earth. When you feel ready, rise up and find that buoyancy in the hips here. So not sinking too low so that you don't feel like you have strength here. Arms reach for the sky, pulling the breath in. And out. A couple more breaths, settle the shoulders. The heart rate calms with the breath. When you're ready, we'll slowly begin to take the hands down to frame the left foot. Shift your hips back and find a half split. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, sinking back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Stick with your half splits. Take the breath in and out. And we'll begin to walk the hands over to the left. You can keep your legs in generally the same shape. Just drop the outer left foot down to the mat. And then think about dragging that foot without actually moving it, just until you feel the outer left hip get some TLC here. Right side body is getting nice and long. Take a full breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly come back around. Nice and easy. Hands stay grounded. Take a big inhale as you lift your back knee up. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, shift to the back of the mat, coming into a Skandasana lunge. Again, you can go low, high. You can use your hands to support you, or you can practice a little more balance without the hands. Okay, now when you're ready, we'll come forward back to the top of the mat. Hands frame the left foot, right knee taps down as you open out to a monkey twist. Let the hips sink, maybe you reach back and bind. When you're ready, we'll open out now into our goddess squat, heels in, toes out. As you sink the hips, we'll take that left arm under the right for eagle arms. Elbows lift, hips sink. We'll pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maintain the lowered position. Hold on here. Just unwrap the arms, widen them out like a T. Broaden through your chest. Maybe lift chin off chest. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come to stand. Shift the toes forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Weight of the head goes. Inhale, we lift up about halfway. So you exhale, just walk around to fold over the outer right leg. Right hip can kind of sink here if you'd like. Make any adjustments you need and then just breathe. When you're ready, we're going to stay facing the back of the mat here. Rotate your right toes toward the small edge of the mat. Then slide your bolster beneath you. And start with it just beneath the thigh, and then you can adjust it later if you know you'll want to. Tap your left knee toward the earth. Find either half splits or your full split variation. Again, you experiment. Where do you want that bolster to support you? Once you find your pose, maybe you stay where you are. Maybe you rotate your gaze over that right shoulder for a little twist. Maybe you add in a little fold, surrendering deeper into the hamstring. The only thing that matters here is that you can breathe. It doesn't matter how low you go in your pose. As long as you feel it, you're doing it. Now on your next breath, we'll slowly rise back up. If you've folded, slide the right heel in just a bit. Bolster to the side if you've got it. And then as you bend back into the right knee, we'll step back, move through a final vinyasa here. Meeting up and back in downward facing dog. And then tapping the knees down and sitting back to the heels. Just taking a moment here to feel the effects of those poses. Notice your heart rate, sense of openness and stability. If you have time, taking a shavasana for a few moments to really absorb all of this. Otherwise, thank you for joining me for your practice today. Namaste. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me for another Fancy Flow. I'd love to hear your feedback on this yin-yang style. Let me know in the comments if you have any requests for future uploads. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Check out nancynelsonyoga.com for more resources, and we'll see you again soon.